So I've really got nothing to do for the rest of the day. And then I don't work till later tomorrow. You trying to finish off Biohazard tonight? Resident Evil 7?
I think I could be down for that.
Could be down for that?
Yeah, because I've been meaning to get into Village. I've been kind of itching to start playing that game, so might as well, beat 7. I'm at the end.
Let's get you into some Village, Connor. Let's get you into some Village.
Yeah, I love that game.
You love this game you haven't played yet?
Yeah, I love that game.
Village, good game, man. It's a good game. I got issues with it, but it sounds like a lot of people have issues with it. But overall, solid experience.
Not to rag on Biohazard, but you say it's better than that.
Yeah, I think it's definitively better than that.
Yeah, it looks better.
Yeah,
it looks better.
Absolutely. Just the amount of content in the game alone justifies it being better than 7. I think.
Yeah. I just gotta get to those story bits of 7 first before, because I've been avoiding spoilers actually, unlike
7?
Usual. Yeah, because the story bits
Village?
7, but I've been avoiding spoilers in 8.
Lovely.
Thankfully, so I have very little knowledge about what happens in the game, which is good.
I assume you know the moment that Twitter has been talking about.
No.
Oh
no, I don't.
You don't?
No, I just know
that
something.
We've talked about this on the show before. There's a very, very scary moment.
Yes, and I know what the thing is.
Oh, you know what the creature is.
I don't know how it's revealed. I don't know the context of it. I don't know any of that stuff. I just know of what it is.
Ooh.
That's the biggest spoiler bit that I have.
Ooh, it's good. Oh my god, I love that moment so much. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll experience that later down the line.
Very exciting, Connor. Very exciting. I'm very excited for you.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time, Connor. But until then, let's drop some sense on him, yeah?
Yeah.
So, what's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Two Penny Gamescast. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host, Connor Elliott. Say hi to the people, Connor.
Hey. Hello.
You forgot that I bring you into the intro and you started sipping that water.
Oh.
You had to hurry up, didn't you?
Hello.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, we come to you with the new nerdy news, specifically in the video game industry, every week, Mondays, 8 a.m. on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Those major mainstream platforms, we're there.
The big ones.
Hit us with a follow, hit us with a subscribe, rate us, give us the thumbs up, comment, all of that interaction bullshit that the algorithm has us play into. Please do that. Help us out. It really does help quite a bit. Now, if you don't know, this show, me and Connor come to you every week with 2 topics, 2 pennies, if you will, and we give you our 2 cents on them. Now, if you didn't know, also, you can watch us play video games live over at twitch.tv/2pennygames. I haven't had too much time this last week to do any solo streams, but every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central Time, me and my good buddy Phil do our show Hype, Have You Ever Played?, in which one of us shows the other a video game that they have never played, and we play through the entire thing on stream. It's very exciting, very good time. We've been playing Mass Effect 1. Phil has been taking the lead on that because he has never played Mass Effect. I am a huge Mass Effect fan, so I have been giddy co-piloting with him through this new endeavor. It's the closest I've ever been to playing through the games for the first time since really I first played through the games.
Yeah.
So it's very, very exciting for me. We're going to be finishing that up this week. Probably going to be a shorter stream. We don't have that much more to get through, and then we'll do some fun like after stream, just chatting stuff like we did for Super Mario Sunshine. It's kind of this new thing that we're trying out for the show, where we watch YouTube videos of like cool like fandom stuff that happens, and all that cool exciting shit.
Fun YouTube videos.
Yeah, just kind of cultural shit. Or whatever.
Yeah, I love fun YouTube videos.
Everybody loves fun YouTube videos, Connor.
I do it too much.
This week, let's go ahead and get into the news because it was a busy week for video game news this week, Connor. So, I want to jump into the first topic of the day, your first penny, if we will.
For some reason, it was my first penny.
Fanbite. Imran Khan writes, rumor, Square Enix set to announce a new action RPG Final Fantasy spin-off. Over the weekend, a number of rumors have swirled about possible E3 announcements, as traditionally happens in the weeks leading up to the video game trade show. In particular, a rumor seemed to swirl around 2 websites, Reddit and gaming forum Reset Era, about a new Final Fantasy spin-off that Square Enix is announcing this year. The rumor states that Square Enix is working with Team Ninja, Koei Tecmo's in-house development team behind games like Ninja Gaiden, Nioh, and perhaps most relevantly, the latest entry in the Final Fantasy fighting game series, Dissidia NT. Do you know what that is?
I played that for a little while. It would have been a good fighting game if it wasn't 3D. Like every, that's a whole thing I have a problem with.
Okay,
yeah. People love it though. It has a pretty strong following.
Okay, cool. The posted rumors go on further by assigning the game a genre, something akin to Neo or the Souls games, and suggesting it takes place somewhere in or adjacent to the world of the first Final Fantasy game on the NES. Our sources have corroborated this rumor and suggested the name of the game is Final Fantasy Origin. The game, which appears to be exclusive to PlayStation 5 with a PC release further down the road, will be one of Square Enix's tentpoles at their upcoming E3 show. For whatever reason, several large chunks of the undated June show have leaked out, including the Final Fantasy Origins logo and demo plans. Square Enix hopes to release an alpha demo this summer, not unlike Neo's public alphas. 2. Solicit feedback from the audience. While the game is still in a fairly early state, the demo, like several other major demos, has its own title of Stranger in Paradise. Expect the title to play similar to Neo or other games in the genre, but to be more accessible for a wider audience. Fanbyte sources indicated that the game is largely developed by the same team behind Dissidia NT, but that team Ninja's nearly 200-person studio involves a lot of shifting around, and that there aren't hard borders on the different teams these days. The Neo DNA in the game is likely the result of people core to the first two games' development being involved in Final Fantasy Origin. It's worth mentioning that anything could change before the final show, especially as more things leak out in the weeks ahead of E3, so this should not be misconstrued as a guarantee that the game will appear there. Still, production and marketing appear to be gearing up for a full swing on the title soon, so it should not be too long until we hear about it. Connor!
Something to look out for when E3's coming up here pretty soon.
Very, very soon. Very soon indeed. When is E3? I forget.
I always forget too.
Especially this year where, it's okay, I guess we're trying this again. I want to say June, the week of June 20-something.
Oh, for some reason I thought I'm not going to be here next week, so I thought you had said that it was going to be that weekend.
I thought it was, but I don't think it is.
No, it is not. It's June. It starts June 12th and ends on June 15th. So
great.
Saturday to Tuesday.
In between our news cycles. Great. That's fantastic. I love that for us. That's so great.
Oh, yeah, it's all virtual, so it's only going to be announcements and stuff. It's not going to be showroom showcases.
Oh, I'm sure there's going to be some demo things that influencers and media can get their hands on.
Right. Yeah, not to the general public. Then.
Anyways, so right in between our news cycles. So, well, we're just going to have to, do what we can for that.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'll take something, in the world of the first game, which isn't super playable anymore these days.
No,
so,
it is not. No, go on.
Okay. I would love that, especially because those first couple of Final Fantasy games are known for how difficult they are. It would be nice to just be able to be like, okay, here's 4 classes, much like how the original game had 4 classes, and be like, yeah, it's hard. It's going to kick your teeth in. Maybe we have party members. Maybe we don't. I don't know. Depends on, what direction they plan on going in for this, and then, how it all plays out from there. You are a big Soulsborne fan. You played the first Neo, not the second. Yeah,
I've heard the second one's. I think it heard better than the first one.
That's what I heard, but it didn't seem to make as big of a splash.
No, it did not. I played the first one. It obviously takes a lot of inspiration from Dark Souls. It's known for that was how it was marketed as being. Again, it's more focused on a story in feudal Japan rather than the European mythological type stuff that happens in Dark Souls, but. It was more accessible than Dark Souls. It was a bit easier, and anybody could play it. And in the article, it mentions how they're going to possibly tone this down as well, which would make sense because Neo, even if it is a little bit easier than Dark Souls, it's still difficult. And some people might have had that barrier just be too high to get over.
Probably going to be sitting somewhere in that Jedi Fallen Order.
I was thinking so. Yeah.
Level of if assuming if they allow different difficulty levels, easy, medium, hard, etc., etc.
Sounds like
and
they
if
will.
not, it probably would just be like Fallen Order on its hardest difficulty, which still isn't that hard.
Yeah, but it seems like they're not trying to make this difficult. They're not trying to make it a big part of the game, which I'm happy for because as much as I love those Souls games. It doesn't. Not every action adventure game needs to be a high difficulty to be good.
Final Fantasy also has such a strong and well storied lineage that like it's as mainstream as probably a Japanese RPG can ever get.
One of the most mainstream,
at least here in the West.
Yeah,
that
right.
Is. So you need a barrier to entry to be relatively lower than games like Dark Souls and Neo and et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. Yeah. And it just taking place in the world of Final Fantasy 1s means they could do some cool things with it. Because
some really cool things.
It gives a chance to develop things more. Because the first game's story, from my knowledge, I never played it, never saw it. I don't even know what the plot points are. It's not very expansive.
Pretty by the numbers.
Yeah.
Go defeat the evil.
Exactly.
Thing. So they could really. It would be interesting to see if they could insert some character, like actual characters and story and narrative and growth into like character arcs into it. Which I think Final Fantasy is fairly well known for. Post 5 or 6, now they're on 16. So I would kind of expect some like actual narrative growth here, which is not unheard of in these games, but like, I would say severely lacking, with games like, Sekiro and Dark Souls and, I can't speak for Neo, but like all, those, From Software games, character isn't the driving force behind those games.
No, it's definitely not.
It would be nice to have that pillar represented in this genre outside of Fallen Order, which was fine, so I'm excited. I assume it's going to play well because, Team Ninja doesn't play around.
No, I've never known them to make a bad game.
Exactly.
I'm not a big fan of 3D fighters, which is what Final Fantasy Dissidia is, but it looks good. It plays well enough. It's just not something you can really sit down and play extensively, at least from my experience. So to see it translated to that kind of gameplay translated to a action RPG would be fun.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think both of us fairly interested. We'll see where it goes. I honestly, Square Enix, I could see going pretty big this E3.
I could see them as well. I mean, they got Final Fantasy 16.
Yep.
They could do a teaser for Final Fantasy 7. I mean, it's definitely within their realm of possibility.
Yeah,
considering what they did with the first part.
When does Interlude? No.
Interlude comes out like a couple days before it starts, like the 10th.
Okay,
June 10th.
so probably just another trailer for Interlude to promote that. I doubt we're gonna get maybe an announcement for 7 Remake Part 2. I doubt it, though.
I would just think teaser trailer. Like, no details whatsoever. Actual gameplay.
Just to say it's coming, but we know it's coming.
Yeah, we already know it's coming. And the game only released last year, so it's not like...
They don't need to do any of that.
They don't. Yeah, they don't.
So, yeah, it could be exciting. And then, all the side projects that Square Enix has going around. I would love to see if Tomb Raider has any life still kicking around somewhere. I would like... I'm going to say it now. This E3 is Avengers' last chance when talking about Square Enix. Dude, they have to pull something out of their ass for Avengers this E3, or it's done. Put it in the coffin. Now, granted, we're going to be getting a lot of Black Panther stuff, I assume. I lightly keep track of where Avengers is at, just in case I want to go back one day. As of right now, I don't.
Yeah.
But, oh, you know what? E3 would be a perfect place for Black Panther and for the Spider-Man reveals.
Spider-Man reveal would make sense around this time.
Oh, also, we didn't even talk about this rumored spin-off game being PlayStation exclusive. Makes sense. PlayStation is doing all it can to keep Final Fantasy in the minds of gamers like a PlayStation franchise.
Yeah, I mean, Square Enix, that's what they've been known for many years, so obviously they want to continue with that.
Yeah, ever since 7, the original 7. So, 7 Remake being exclusive to PS5 for so long, and then they add another 6 months to the Interlude thing, and then Final Fantasy 15, I believe it obviously wasn't exclusive, but it had like a lot of like promotion for PlayStation, and I believe there was like some like pre-order bonus shit that you could only get on PlayStation or something. You would know better than me, but that was 7 years ago now.
Yeah, so. Not to my knowledge, and nothing I can remember right off the top of my head.
Exactly. So, Connor, let's go ahead and move on to talk about more things coming in the future, but not so far in the future, shall we? So, we had big gameplay reveals for both Horizon Forbidden West and Far Cry 6. Let's go ahead and start with our talk about Horizon here. We're going to lump them in together as one penny. This is my first penny of the day. Man, Horizon looks good.
Yeah,
man.
One of the first things they opened on was two characters talking just to show off the facial animation.
Yep, and
it looked great.
This is an open world game.
I know.
You know, especially when the first one got kind of like they dinged it pretty, like critics dinged it pretty hard for a good reason. The facial animations were pretty stiff. You know, especially when talking to NPCs and side characters, and you don't get any of that in this gameplay reveal. That probably won't be shown until like a week before the game comes out. Yeah. But I mean, just like when Aloy is moving around in the environment and stuff, it looks so gorgeous. Like the way the lighting is bleeding through the trees and the colors they're using. Oh my god! Like what? This is one of the, like just off of you like, and this is through YouTube compression. Like this looks like one of the best looking games I've ever seen, and it's playing on a PS5, which I don't know, man. These PlayStation titles, man, they push the boundaries of visuals.
Well, that's what they're trying to do. I mean, people want good looking games. People want games that look nice, and
exactly.
The PS5 is the best console out there that can do that. So they're really trying to show off everything they can.
PlayStation in general has always been like Naughty Dog games have always pushed the boundaries of what games can look like. Like Bloodborne is a beautiful game. Demon's Souls remake was a beautiful game.
Though it won't run at 60 FPS on PlayStation 5. But beside that point, I know I just mentioned it because I talked about it before the show started. I love how Aloy goes underwater and how underwater looks.
Yes.
It looks like there's going to actually be gameplay elements.
I like how fast she's moving underwater.
Yes. So it's not going to be slow and methodical.
Yeah,
which is what you don't want in a water level.
Absolutely not. You know, so oh man, it looks great. And then on top of like all the like additions they're adding to the general gameplay with how like climbing, it looks way more fluid, and they're taking more notes from games like Uncharted and Assassin's Creed probably more directly. That looks great because it was super stiff in the first game, climbing. The like little electric hand glider thing, obviously ripping straight from Breath of the Wild, but thank God, because that is awesome.
I don't know, Tavin. I think I got more Fortnite vibes from that umbrella.
The fuck up.
I think that's the true inspiration.
And then the little grapple hook thing, that looks cool.
I remember people were going more crazy over that than almost anything else on Twitter from what I saw.
I saw that too, and I was like, oh, cool, great, because I was at work when the reveal dropped, and I was like, oh, we got a grapple hook, that's and then I saw, I'm like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah. It's good. I mean, I think a lot of games should have a grappling hook. I know that's repetitive and redundant, but they're just so useful and nice to do when you're going around the environment.
Look at this. Like, the level of detail and the physics in the grass and stuff. Like, how is this an open world game?
And you know what's also pretty amazing is that I remember there was a time, mainly when, the PS4 and the Xbox One were coming out and being released, games would be shown for them, and you would always have to take it with a grain of salt because they would do things to make it look better.
Exactly.
With this, it seems like they're not trying to do anything to make it more marketable to people. It's just what the game plays like.
Exactly.
From what they show us.
I think PlayStation also has a lineage of what they show you is what you get, for the most part. Horizon Zero Dawn, what you saw was what you got. Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, like all of these gorgeous-looking games, like... that what you saw is what you got, and they lived up to the pitch and the promise of all of that. I love this revamped melee combat system that they've got going on. I love how dynamic the human enemies look now, because they were super stiff and pretty boring to fight in the original game. It was all about the robot dinosaurs, but now, I'm almost just as excited to fight the humans as I am the new robot dinosaurs.
As am I. I mean, the enemies, the human enemies in the original game always seemed like they were just filler, because they didn't want to just have you fighting dinosaurs all the time.
Exactly.
But now it looks like they've actually come around and said, okay, well, let's make these guys also really fun to fight.
Exactly.
As much as we can. Especially with that melee bit we saw right there.
Looks great, man. She does like a little ultimate power move or something.
Now, was that a transition into melee combat only? That's what it looked like from what I just saw.
Well, in the original game, you could do either on the fly. So, and then she jumps off of him and then shoots him in the chest. It goes slow-mo and stuff. Which the slow-mo in the air thing was in the first game, so that you could line up that shot and pick it off. But just look how she moves through the environment. Look like how the water bends around the rivers and stuff, and how just more elevated and things. Obviously, this section here that she's running through in this demo. Where, if you don't know, they're revealing the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. It's clearly a little more linear and guided segment. which was in the original game. But I can't wait to see like some like raw open world footage and see how much this detail really like holds up throughout the entire map and stuff. Like, this is an open world game and it looks so fucking phenomenal.
It does. And from what we're seeing right now, it's a lot more tight corners, which, as you said, could be
I think
them
it's just a
in
guided
story mission.
It's a level.
Yeah.
It's a story mission.
And they want to keep you on the same path. But I wonder if they may also just be making a transition into more close spaces. Because in the first one, there's a lot of wide open areas. Mm-hmm. There's close spaces as well, but for the most part, you're going across, wide plains on dinosaurs. Or robot dinosaurs. So,
no, I mean, the hunt of the first game was very much a thing. Like, hunting these dinosaurs to collect resources and so forth. So, like, that, I believe, is still very much going to be alive and present in this game. But I love all the new, like, all the, like, little types that they've revealed in this trailer. Like, the little, like, not Velociraptor, but like this, like, that thing she mounts and she like hacks and mounts and rides through. I love how big it is. I don't think there's anything in the first game as big as that you could ride.
No.
So I'm hoping that, and they just haven't shown it yet, which it's probably not going to be a thing if they haven't shown it. I'm hoping for mounts that can fly.
That would be very cool.
That would be so cool.
You are right. I feel like if that was going to be in it, they would have shown that in some way.
I imagine they have, but they haven't shown open world traversal yet.
They have not, yeah.
So, there's that.
And you even saw the underwater crocodile dinosaur monster.
Yeah, let's get some swimming mounts, Connor.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Let's go. I didn't even think about that. That's exciting.
Get some dolphins.
Yeah. And then, of course, like, man, the thing I remember so vividly of the first game is how fun it was to learn the tricks and like little like skills of each individual like robot, and how they all like behaved and pinning down their attack patterns and so forth. It felt like there was nothing more thrilling in that first game than finding a new type of robot enemy and like working your way around to figure out how to take it down. So excited for that feeling to come back. And when they fight this giant mammoth thing that looks straight out of the things from Lord of the Rings.
Yes, one of the comments I saw was a reference to when Legolas takes down the woolly mammoth. I'm not going to go into that right now, but I thought there was going to be a reference when I saw that, like a more, hardline reference.
That'd probably be more of a side mission thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm very, very excited. I love all the new, like, quick little weapon things they're doing. The little, like, javelin thing that she throws and it blows up. That's super exciting. The like alternate weapons in the original game were pretty hit and miss for the most part. You kind of just used the main bow and arrow.
Yeah.
But there were a couple of items and tools and weapons that did have their uses throughout the entire game. So I'm excited to see new additions, revamped additions from the first game, and man, I could not be more excited. Shame we didn't get a release date.
No, but they're probably doing the thing where they don't want to let everybody know that it's coming out this day, and then it have some kind of delay, and then have some outcry that, oh, you said it would come out this day.
I think they've learned their lesson pretty hard. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima never really got pushed publicly.
No.
So
when they announced it, it came out.
Yeah, I think all of their major releases, with the exception of Ghost, all got delayed at some point. Last of Us, God of War. I don't remember if Bloodborne ever got delayed, but From Software is pretty good about delivering on date.
Yeah, they're very, very methodical on when they announce when they're coming out.
So the original Horizon got delayed. So I think Uncharted 4 got delayed a bunch. So I think they finally learned their lesson, and they go, listen, man, the hype and the promo will do all of the work and get all of the sales we need to. A date doesn't help us with marketing until we're actually ready to release.
Right. Which is what they always should have done. But
exactly. And then I think, especially leading off the back of Cyberpunk, it's like, well, let's not promise anybody anything until we know we can deliver on it. So I'm very excited. I'm so excited, I'm even considering going back and playing the original game again, because there's a lot of story beats and things I don't remember.
Well,
by the way, you need to play that game.
I know.
You need to play that
so
game.
it's like, well, at least since I don't have a release date, I guess I can take my time and getting to that.
You should definitely double back.
Yeah.
Zero Dawn is a great game.
After I play, obviously I'm still playing Mass Effect. After I do that, I'll probably finish up Ghost of Tsushima and then move on to this.
You haven't finished Ghost yet?
No, I still haven't finished it.
My God, you're like 3 hours from the end of that game.
Because I get into that game and I'm like, well, I'm going to go explore. And then I explore.
For what purpose? You're not going to go platinum it or
I find cool swords.
You should platinum it, but because it's really easy platinum, and you would actually really enjoy it.
But I find cool swords, so that's all I want.
You're on the path anyway, Connor. Just go do it. Get the platinum trophy. Anyways, so let's move on. Far Cry 6.
This surprised me because I was ready to say, okay, it's a Far Cry. It's not like my mind isn't blown. Specify that, but I was watching this gameplay and I was like, okay. That seems fun. It seems like something I would actually see myself getting and just fucking around in, having some fun.
You know, I'm there. I'm right there as well. Far Cry 5 did not do it for me really at all.
It had a good start. I liked the game a lot when I first started playing it.
Yeah,
but it just kind of didn't do enough to keep me interested. Which this one seems to do that. Is going to do that because there's obviously more character to the main character than other games and a story.
I think Far Cry 5 also took itself just too seriously.
It took itself way too seriously.
Its world was not fun to play in for me, and then the structure of that game just led to just some of the worst pacing in a video game I've ever seen. In a genre with these open world, clear the map type things, where pacing suffers so heavily anyway. So I kind of like some of the vibes that they've been throwing off in these trailers. Giancarlo Esposito, he's still that serious, really interesting bad guy character that we've had since 3.
Yeah. Kind of locked themselves into trying to have interesting guys each time.
Exactly.
Only didn't work at 5.
Revolving their marketing around the bad guy.
Yeah.
Which obviously was a mistake for 5.
Yeah. And the game after that, I can't even remember what that one was called.
New Dawn.
New Dawn. Yeah, I heard that one was not
Was that?
good.
I thought that was about the twins you played as, wasn't it?
Did he play it as?
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Far Cry 6. Honestly, I'm in. I like that, in its moment-to-moment gameplay, it's like, hey man, let's get weird. Let's get, so less serious. Let's have a gun that, it's from a motorcycle engine. Sure, why not? Yeah, let's have a gun that, spits out CDs. Sure, that's dope. Let's have a jetpack in a rocket-propelled, backpack or a backpack that shoots rockets, in some really dope ways. I'm into all of this.
Might as well go crazy and stupid with it. Yeah.
I like that cutscenes are now leaving the first person perspective and going third person, so you can actually see your character. Interesting that they chose so long to tell the audience that there is a character creator of some kind, and you don't have to play as the female version of this character. They hang on her face for a long time, and they don't tell you that there's a character creator for a long time in this reveal. I didn't think there was either. I was like, well, and they don't spend long on it, and none of the marketing in this reveal, almost none of it shows the male version of this character. Danny is their name. None of the cutscenes presented ever use the male version of that character, which probably leads me to believe this is more of Ubisoft's fuck shit that they do. Where the higher-ups refuse to allow a female character to be the main protagonist of the video game because they're still in that old world mindset that video games are for boys or whatever, and boys don't want to play as women or whatever the fuck that they think. We saw this before in other Far Cry games. We saw this in Assassin's Creed primarily. Characters like Cassandra and Evie always got changed because those, corporate fucks are like, ah.
You see, I have to differ on you on that. I feel like it's always been kind of the opposite in recent years where people have tried to be, have women in the front role more than most. Because when I saw gameplay, Cassandra was
That's true for things outside of Ubisoft games.
Well, even with, I remember the main gameplay bits of Odyssey involved Cassandra during E3. The big reveal. It was like, okay.
A lot of it was about Alexios. All of the marketing is around Alexios. The cover of the game is Alexios.
Which you can switch. Can you?
Not for digital versions of the game, which more than half the gamers use.
Well, you see, Tavin,
all the posters are Alexios. And then a lot of the gameplay trailers and stuff revolved around Alexios. It wasn't until the game came out that Cassandra became the main spot. And then Syndicate that was it, right? Yeah, Syndicate was infamous for the devs, like, this has been known for a long time. The devs wanted Eevee to be your main playable character, but Ubisoft forced them to have, I believe his name was Jacob, be just as important as her.
I'm sorry, I have no clue what game you're talking about.
That's Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Oh,
you played as twins.
Okay,
and the devs wanted to just play as the chick. They wanted to make their game about the chick.
Oh, okay.
So like this is a known thing with Ubisoft, where for whatever reason they don't believe in. And then the game before that, there was that big controversy for Unity being the 4-player co-op game, and you could only just play as 4 different colored versions of the main guy, and you couldn't be like a female assassin or any other type of assassin. Like, it was just this weird Frenchman dude, and the only thing that changed was the color of your hood.
Yeah.
Weird choices that they made.
Yeah, I guess when you mention it, Ubisoft does have a record of doing that.
Ubisoft does this, man. This is what they do. So, which is why I find it so interesting that Danny is being so heavily represented as the female version of the character. Like, even in the montage moments, almost 0 versions of the male character. Cool. I'm into it. It just like solidifies that, okay, yeah, the devs, in my mind, the devs want me to play as female Danny, so I'm going to play as female Danny when I play. I don't know if there's like actual like character creation, like you can mold the face or whatever.
There might not
any
be.
of the customized things. It's just different outfits like that you can choose, which is cool. But yeah, I love how the gunplay looks in this. I love how varied the weapons look in this. I love how they're just like, fuck it, man, drive a convertible. Why not?
Yeah.
Drive a convertible through the forest. Who cares?
Or through the city streets, which I'm happy they're including that.
Cities?
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge thing that no one's talking about. Like, Far Cry games are all forest all the time.
All the time, yeah. And now, what I am worried about, though, is that obviously there's cities in the game, but are they free roam, or are they mainly just for story? Because it looks like a lot of the story bits are happening here.
I imagine there will be, like, 3 or 4 main hub areas, and then, like, 1 major, like, free roam area.
Which would be fun. As long as we get to play in the city, free roam, rather than just be designated to the
I also imagine a lot of the story missions will take place in that. Which will be, like, more linear, of course, and so forth. So,
I mean, one of the whole points of them being guerrilla fighters is they take it to the enemy, who obviously are based in the city. So.
Exactly. So, this actually got me back on board in a moment where I was like, man, I just don't care about Far Cry anymore. Like, the reveal of Far Cry 6 did nothing for me outside of Giancarlo Esposito. But I'm like, I'm sorry, like, you pulled an actor, that's not enough for me to like your video game. Like, Keanu Reeves, cool.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, they know that people like that kind of stuff, so they always
It's almost
try to
more
that.
Distracting for me.
Is it?
When they get a big Hollywood actor and then use their likeness, it's almost more distracting. I'm like, that's... Why is Keanu Reeves here? Why is Giancarlo here? Why is, what's another example of this? Why is Liam Neeson my dad? In Fallout 3. It's like...
Oh, yeah,
it's weird, and it takes me out of the moment sometimes, but,
That's always been movements by the video game industry to try and say, hey, look, movies are popular, everybody likes movies.
Yeah.
We have actors in our games, we can play our games.
The fact that the CD gun is playing Macarena.
Yeah, I know.
That's fun. I like that, man. That's cool.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people talking about that. I also saw a lot of people talking about you can either have a dog or a crocodile.
Oh, yeah, that's a great thing. The crocodile, yeah. I'm so excited.
Dude, people were being fucking idiots and like, why would you play as the crocodile? You play as the dog as your companion thing. Like,
it's just a little thing. I don't think that guy, I think that's just like a little thing that like will follow you around. I don't think it'll actually help in combat. I mean, maybe it will.
It'd be funny to see a crocodile just go around and...
But that crocodile is definitely going to be like, press the left bumper and send big croc at an enemy, which that's cool and that's fun. Yeah. I don't think was that in any of the other games? Definitely wasn't in 3. I don't remember it in 4.
It was in 4. I remember there was like some kind of taming thing. Yeah, there was some. What? Yeah, I know there were games that it was like that in.
See, and here's another question I have. So we have
never used it.
They put this big focus on crafting and stuff for your weapons and so forth. Do we still have the hunting? Look at that little guy.
Yeah.
Look at this little dachshund little fucker.
Crippled ass.
Yeah, he doesn't have any back legs.
No, he does not.
No. Oh, he's so fierce. Look at him giving the growl. Anyways, October 7th, 2021. You know what? I'm in.
Yeah.
They did enough here. I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm, especially in a year where we don't have too many releases on the horizon. I'm sure after E3 we'll have a few more. But
they'll probably start dropping some release dates at that point.
Yeah. And then also, since we're on the subject of Ubisoft, Skull and Bones has reportedly restarted development. So, woohoo! Who the fuck knows if and when we ever get that game?
I'm sorry, I missed it. I'm just kind of curious. When's that game coming out? Far Cry?
October 7th.
October 7th. Okay.
Yeah. First like official fall game, I think. Outside of like your usual like expected Call of Duties and so forth. So, very exciting. Very exciting. Where do you think Horizon's coming this year?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? They were pretty diehard about Horizon and God of War coming this year. Immediately, we were like, God of War's not coming this year.
Okay.
But
maybe December.
I could see Horizon in an October or November spot somewhere. I don't think that's a good place for it. To me, you just wait till March. Mm-hmm. Why not? Like nobody's gonna be dying for game. Well, I mean, we're all dying for game releases, but we're gonna get Ratchet, and then that'll be fine to be our big PlayStation game of the year. And then also give gamers time to double back and get to Returnal, because Returnal is that good that everybody should go and play that.
People are still trying to get PS5, so maybe they also would want to wait as long as possible so they can get the most amount of
Granted,
sales.
Horizon Forbidden West is also a PS4 game.
Yeah, maybe. Obviously, with a game like that, though, people want to play it on PS5.
I want to see the difference.
Yeah.
What does it look like? Because I assume what you just showed me was PS5 footage. They probably had it. They probably had it in fine print somewhere. Oh yeah, PS5. Yeah. It says in the title. So I want to see what the PS4 version of that game looks like.
Mm-hmm. Not 60 FPS like that was.
Oh the fuck no! There's not a chance in hell it's 60 FPS. But like the Mass Effect games can't run 60 FPS on PS4. But I want to see what kind of like graphical, like upgrades, or like what is the opposite of an upgrade? Like
enhancements?
No, like the opposite.
Degrades.
Degrades. Sure, I guess, is that a word? So yeah, I want to see. I want to see what the PS4 version of Horizon looks like. Because obviously they can't get too crazy, because they still have to appease the 120 million players on PS4.
Yeah.
But it'll be exciting to get all that new cool stuff for the PS5.
Downgrade.
Yeah,
that's what.
There you go. That's what it's called.
Got hooked up on that.
Us. Connor, let's go ahead and move on to our third topic of the day. Your second penny.
Yes, moi.
BlizzCon 2021 has been canceled. Unfortunate. This is an article from The Verge by Jay Peters. BlizzCon, Blizzard's annual fan convention, has been canceled this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic, like it was last year. However, the company plans to host a global event set for the early part of next year, the company announced on Wednesday. Building an in-person BlizzCon is an epic and complex affair that takes many months of preparation. Not just for us, but also the many talented production partners, esports pros, hosts, entertainers, artists, and other collaborators we team up with locally and globally to put all of the pieces together. Sarah Lynn Smith, BlizzCon's executive producer, said in a statement, quote, "The ongoing complexities and uncertainties of the pandemic have impacted our ability to properly move forward on many of these fronts, and ultimately, we're now past the point where we'd be able to develop the kind of event we'd want to create for you in November. The global event for next year will comprise an online show like the BlizzCon line that took place in February, and, quote, smaller in-person gatherings. The company says it will reveal more about that event in the future." So still, we're still feeling ripple effects from the pandemic, of course, and we're going to continue feeling this for the next 3, probably to even 5 years as, this industry figures out what the new normal is. Mm-hmm. And, as they start weighing, pros and cons of things like digital events, work at home programs, et cetera, how does that help with, balance? And, cause it's a pretty known thing that maybe not so much for BlizzCon, but for big events like E3, a lot of dev teams have to crunch really hard to get a demo working, for these big gameplay premieres and events that they show off at E3 and so forth. So, which is kind of why I like what PlayStation is doing with their State of Plays, because it's on their schedule. They show you games when they're ready to show you them.
A lot easier to set up, I would assume, rather than a whole E3 event where they announce games. It's kind of Nintendo really paved the way for that to start.
With their directs, absolutely, absolutely.
Which is, I mean, you've talked about it before. How E3 you think is dying, and it won't be around much longer.
It's dying with its last 2 live shows that they did in 19 and 18 being open to the public, and then I don't think E3 is going to die outright. I think it holds enough weight that E3 needs to evolve in some way, and I think it just goes full Comic-Con. I think it just becomes gaming's Comic-Con, as opposed to
reveals and new gameplay and stuff like that.
Exactly. So, like, I think we're going to get more, like, panel-type things, more, like, go and experience E3-type things, as opposed to it being a media event.
It would make sense.
A bunch of journalists come in and give hands-on things anyways. But for BlizzCon 2021, obviously, a victim of the still difficult times that we're in, and which will continue to happen probably even through next year. But I assume a lot of these big events are going to start coming back for in-person moments as more of the population becomes vaccinated, and
it's only a matter of time before that starts happening,
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm very excited to see what happens to these big events and cons post COVID. And then the rise of these, like, State of Plays and Nintendo Directs and Ubisoft Forwards. Like, how does that all work? Because obviously you're not going to get as many eyes to every one of these smaller things. But it is more in the it's more in the publisher's hands. Yeah. So, like, Nintendo can be like, hey, we're working on our own schedule. We'll show you the next Fire Emblem or whatever when we're ready to show you the next Fire Emblem. And then PlayStation could obviously be like, hey, this State of Play, it's only about Horizon. We got nothing else for you. Mm-hmm. It's just Horizon. Come see Horizon. And that so on and so forth for any and other all games. However, big things like, sorry, my fucking headphones were just beeping in my ear for some reason. It doesn't look like that went up on the sound thing though. Maybe it did. Sorry if it did. What was I saying? Not everyone is going to be, everyone is going to come to see what happens at E3. There's a competition, like underlying competition thing there. That kind of dies with these directs because they're not all at once. They're more spread out and they all have room to breathe. Mm-hmm. I'm sure developers like it because their game is the entire talking point for a whole weekend as opposed to E3 where your game is the talking point until the next conference.
Because you kind of just go through the motions of what next big game is going to be announced here.
Exactly. And then as it goes. E3 2019, like Keanu Reeves stepping out on the Xbox stage for Cyberpunk was the moment. And the rest of the show may as well have just not happened. Yeah. Even though there were some really cool, great things that came out of E3 that year, but nothing, hit at the level of that. So we can have those moments, but like, for more personalized things and still get some light on some of the smaller, quote unquote, smaller AAA games, that won't have as much attention. Games like, Ratchet and Clank is not going to be as big as a Spider-Man game, obviously, even though Ratchet and Clank seems to be huge this year. Returnal, obviously not as big as any other game that's come to PlayStation 5 so far, but, if it can have a moment where it has its own state of play, or if it has a significant amount of time in a state of play, maybe you can get more eyes on it and have more conversation about it for a longer period of time. However, the downside of that is if a gamer goes, I don't really like Ubisoft games. That whole collect-a-thon, clear the map shit, like, it gets real old real fast to me and I'm not into it. Well, then that gamer is probably never going to watch a Ubisoft Forward.
No. Which, wouldn't blame you.
As opposed they would tune in for a Ubisoft E3 conference because it's E3. You might as well, pay attention to everything that happens that week. So, pros and cons, we're weighing the differences here. When it comes to BlizzCon specifically, I don't have any personal fandom or weight in Blizzard. I'm like, okay, cool.
No, the very die-hard fans of things like Overwatch and Diablo probably would be very interested in that, but Blizzard is just one company. So
exactly.
And you can only do so much with one company, and it matters much. It's something like E3. So,
Also, I'm still not cool with their behavior during that whole Free Hong Kong movement.
Yeah, so. They become a kind of unpopular company recently.
So. And they still haven't really done anything to correct their actions during that period. So, never forget,
Yeah.
Hold these motherfuckers accountable. Moving on. Connor, final topic of the day. Just kind of a quick, smaller one. Probably won't take us too long to get through. We're pulling from Randy Pitchford's Twitter. Borderlands 3 is becoming crossplay, but with a catch. So, I'm going to take it straight to Randy Pitchford. Good news or bad news first? Good news. An update for Borderlands 3 has been prepared for release that includes full crossplay support across all platforms. Bad news. For certification, we have been required by the publisher to remove crossplay support for PlayStation consoles. Well, that's unfortunate.
PlayStation will never be crossplay.
Now, well, they do have crossplay in some cases.
More of a joke.
Yeah,
but it's just so difficult for them to ever coordinate on that.
It's such old head, like old world type thinking. Crossplay can only help you. I understand you want your money for your little microtransactions that, mean so much. But it's like, motherfucker, just let people play the way they want, how they want. You're gonna see benefits from it in the long run. I'm sure Xbox Game Pass is fucking killing it behind the scenes in ways that we can't see. Now, granted, the numbers may not look crazy on our end, but I'm sure that revenue coming in, Xbox is more than happy with.
Yeah.
And it's just like, at every fucking chance, PlayStation is just trying to keep these wall gardens up that don't need to exist. You already have the best games in the marketplace that you can only play on your consoles. When is enough? Borderlands 3 will never be or the next Borderlands whatever will never be exclusive to PlayStation consoles.
No.
It just won't. So, let people, let's, knock some of these walls down and get more activity on your platform anyways. You know what would be a great way for me to load up, a great way for me to jump back into Borderlands 3, and maybe I'll spend some money on some microtransactions or whatever. I don't remember what the in-game store looks like in Borderlands, or on a DLC pack or something, is if you allow crossplay and let me play with Phil, who's playing on PC. Instead, I've got to go load up my PC file of the game on a character I don't want to play as, on a file that isn't as advanced, and then, I got to jump through all these hoops as a gamer, to where I would much rather just load up the character I already have that's got all of my skill points and got all of the, this weight and history behind it that, I love. And, I've got my loadouts the way I have. My PC version is a secondary character to that guy. What the fuck?
Yeah. It's very annoying because Guilty Gear Strive's coming out soon, or at least I hope it is. And I would like to get it for the eventual PS5 that I'll be getting, hopefully in a few short while. But I have to decide, do I want to play that on PS5 because it'll run better than my PC, or do I want to play it on PC and more easily play with the people that I always play fighting games with? So it's, it would be completely solved if crossplay was more common on PlayStation, but I can't get that in my fighting game. I have to choose one.
There's no guarantee you're going to have it,
No.
Just and it only seems to be the ones with the really big sticks who get that access. Your Call of Duties, your Fortnites, your Rocket League.
I can see some money exchanging behind the scenes to try and.
Well, we already know it. We already know it does.
Yeah.
Fortnite in their Apple case was very loud and vocal of, PlayStation makes us pay more. To have this option, and it's fucking whack as fuck. Come on, Sony, get it the fuck together. Sometimes the money isn't worth it.
Well, we're not making that money, so I guess it doesn't matter what we say.
I don't think they would lose that much money.
No, but it's all about maximizing
you just said, if you could, you would.
Yeah.
But you can't, so you probably won't.
No, yeah.
Because playing with your friends matters more than where you're playing it.
It does.
It just does.
You would get my absolute sale for Strive on PS5, but you're not going to get it.
Exactly. And you would probably even, just because you're down this new fighting game rabbit hole, if PlayStation knocked down these walls, you would get a game on PlayStation every time it dropped. But now they've opened the door for you to go, well, let me go get it on my PC then. I'll go get it through Steam, Epic Game Store, something. And then from there, it just expands. And you're like, oh, well, let me play this game on my PC. Let me play this game on my PC. Game number 4 on PC. And then you go, my PC isn't up to snuff that my PlayStation 5 would be. Well, PlayStation 5 doesn't let me play with my friends. So let me just go invest money into my PC.
Yeah, it's an easier choice. You decide, for the reasons of short term, more money, you make the dumb decision to not make crossplay more available.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect example of you're driving people away from your ecosystem instead of bringing them in. Your exclusives do enough for you. I mean, fucking every PlayStation exclusive was in the running for Game of the Year last year. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, dude. Like
something like Final Fantasy VII Remake was only on PS4, so you're getting the money from that.
Yeah.
Why do you need to constantly try to shortchange people?
3 of the 5 to 6 main big titles of last year were on PlayStation. You could only get them there, and you were only playing them there. And you know, even fan votes, like with Jeff Keighley's Game Awards, where fans voted for, the fan favorite of the year, whatever the fuck that award was called. Yeah. Ghost of Tsushima won that. But it came down to Ghost and Last of Us 2.
Both PS4 exclusives.
Both sold bonker numbers. Your exclusives do enough, Sony. You don't need to penny pinch like this. It's ridiculous. Anyways, Connor, that's about it for the news this week.
That is it.
So, let's go ahead and jump into what we've been playing. I imagine...
I wonder what I have.
Just like last week, it's not going to be that different.
No.
Because it happens to be a bit of a dead zone in game releases right now. Biomutant just came out.
I heard that was not good.
Bunch of meh scores. It's a bunch of mehs. Some people like it. Most are just kind of meh on it. Some people don't like it.
Which you looked forward to it. You said it looked interesting.
I was moderately interested, but then reviews came out and they were really split on how the gameplay felt. Some reviewers loved how it felt. A bunch were like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just not in the mood for a fine game right now. That itch got scratched by Outriders. So I don't. That was the name of that game, right? Outriders.
Yeah, it was.
Yes. Okay. I had to lower my thing to just see it. So it's just like, If I want an okay game, I'll go play Outriders with my friends. Mm-hmm. Or me and Phil have actually been talking about jumping into Borderlands 3. Before that Borderlands 3 news happened, we were just kind of like, it'd be fun to jump. I think we were talking about it on stream for when we did Hype last week. Twitch.tv/2pennygames. Mm-hmm. So we've got this big, release gap until really Ratchet and Clank comes out next month. What are we going to play? Oh, this remastered trilogy of 3 of the best games ever made came out, and they each have 30, 40 hours of gameplay in each of them. So
yeah, I'm averaging around 20 so far. And it's going to be more with Mass Effect 2, which, for the very surprising, we were talking about it before, I'm farther than you in that game.
I haven't had a lot of time to play games this week. Much like last week.
All my time has been dedicated to playing Mass Effect. Any single time. I haven't even touched my PC. Any games on my PC in the
love
past,
to hear it, Connor. I love to hear
it.
Yeah,
I know you do. I'd be like, you must be so proud of me. But I still have Star Wars Last Jedi. I saw that recently when I was on PS4.
Jedi Fallen Order?
Jedi Fallen Order. I can't even remember the name of that.
You have that on your PS4, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I wonder how I got it on my PS4.
Oh, it was that thing where we
But
anyways,
so far as Mass Effect 2 is concerned, my experience has been very, very positive.
Oh, great.
I know I've always broken with you on this, on which is better, Mass Effect 1 or 2. Now that I'm playing this one more again, it's kind of cemented it. It is 2. When I was playing...
I think 3 is going to improve greatly in your mind when you get to 3.
I hope it will, too.
Especially because now you have all the DLC, which is unfortunately vital to the quality of Mass Effect 3.
Which is stupid they didn't have that in the base game.
Well, it's clear just poor planning. Or not poor planning. Just EA.
Yeah, I can imagine that. That was the beginning of their downfall, now that I think about it.
It was very unfortunate.
But I love how the guns shoot, and... They obviously got rid of the overheat mechanics, so now it's thermal clips. So like a traditional shooter, you're going to have clips. Every now and then I think to myself that the ammo counts in each guns are a little bit too low.
Yep.
Mainly with like the pistol and the shotgun.
Yep.
Which is annoying at times, but...
to be fair, they've tweaked pickups in Mass Effect 2. I remember they talking about that in the lead up to Legendary Edition. They were like, hey, when you... I think they've like programmed it to where ammo drops more often now, and the pickups are larger.
Okay.
Which makes a lot of sense because I remember, in the olden days, like you'd have to pick up like 3 to get to max ammo from, being empty. Now it's like 1 or 2. And it's like you don't have to like run across a battlefield to go get it. Like it's just right wherever the last guy dropped or whatever.
Yeah.
So
there's always ammo, so you're never like really scrounging around for it. But there were moments where I'm like, well, this is almost out of ammo. Better go find some to use it more. Yeah. And switch to another gun in the meantime.
Especially when some guns like the starter SMG weapon are so useless.
Oh, so useless. Yeah, very, very.
Did you pick up that Locust?
I did. I like the Tempest still more.
You like the Tempest more? I think the Tempest has better power, but it's less accurate, right?
Yes, that is because which I already have the pistol for long range, so it's like
exactly.
The Tempest already melts enemies, so might as well keep it that
I'm
way.
in that same boat where the Carnifex pistol just fucking destroys dudes.
Yeah.
Like it's like 2 headshots and they're gone. So when I do get the Tempest eventually, which is in this next mission that I'm about to play, I probably will switch to the Tempest.
Yeah.
I do like the Locust, though. It's a good gun.
It is a good gun. It's just, overall, if I had an assault rifle, I would use that instead. Because it's kind of like the closest thing you can get to an assault rifle while still only being able to use SMGs.
Mass Effect 2, now the black sheep of the series with weapon class restrictions.
Yeah. It's very strange that they didn't keep that up from 1.
Yeah. I think it's because it breaks the overall gameplay loop.
Well, there's a moment, you obviously would know, there's a moment where you can specialize in another weapon later on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Yep. I chose sniper rifles because I might as well figured I'd shake it up.
Mass Effect is meant to be played with a sniper rifle.
I'm actually not the biggest fan of it, to be quite honest.
Oh, dude,
not as much as 1, which I love the snipers in that one.
Well, if you have, I think in 2 it's only certain classes, like the infiltrator class, but there's like slowdown on the sniper, so where you're just popping headshots left and right because everything is slow as fuck. And you're just like, all right, let me just line up my shot. Bam, you're dead. Bam, you're dead.
I don't have
Bam,
that.
You're dead.
That was the big issue that I would come across a lot.
Yeah, whereas
Still
in 3, it's a weapon mod.
When you first aim down the sights for like 2 seconds.
Or it might be a class thing too, but you can advance upon it with weapon mods, or every class can have it with weapon mods.
Okay.
I think 3 is going to improve greatly in your mind, and it might.
I hope it will.
It might become your favorite. It might.
We'll have to see.
That ending is still kind of, it's fine. Mm-hmm. It's not great, but it's fine.
That's the big hurdle for me. That and the story missions.
But if you see 3 as in its entirety as the ending to the trilogy, it's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Like, especially when some of the long-standing issues in the galaxy start being solved and so forth.
Those are done well.
Those are done phenomenally well.
Which is why it's always just back to the ending as far as the story is concerned.
Last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Better now,
even the
but
last
still not great.
mission was kind of underwhelming for me. Because, like, it's the climactic end of everything, and it seemed like it was just any other mission I've done up until that point.
We're getting a little spoilery, but
yeah.
We're verging on spoilers.
Shut that off.
A lot of first-time players in this series I'm seeing on my timelines and stuff. Good. Fantastic. I love it. I did see some screenshots from some of the DLC levels in 2 just today.
Oh, really?
And they look phenomenal, which is great because I remember some of those DLC missions being remarkably like lesser looking than the main missions, and I think that's still going to be true because photo mode you can start applying filters and stuff and and like adjusting the camera and so forth. But the fact that it looked like the rest of the like shots from the main game, I was like, I'm very excited to get to those missions, even though I hate many of those missions.
You do.
Mass Effect 2 has like 2 good DLC packs. And now the DLC packs that are good, Shadow Broker, Kasumi stuff, Overlord's pretty good too.
I hadn't done that yet.
But Shadow Broker specifically is phenomenal.
Because that was the only one I played as far as DLC is concerned.
Shadow Broker?
Yeah, the only one I did. So, and that was very, very good. So I'll see how the other ones play out.
Overlord is cool. Not great, but cool. Mm-hmm. And then I like Kasumi's mission.
It was good.
It's good.
Yeah, I just did that one. I do have to mention the DLC characters are obviously shoehorned in.
Obviously.
Yeah, which almost makes me think sometimes maybe they shouldn't have had them in the first place. They should have been like side quests.
They're little like DLC characters. Their involvement in 3 isn't super heavy either.
Yeah,
so
I figured it was.
It's fine. I do, but I agree with you. I would have rather did like a dialogue wheel. Or something when you go talk to them instead of like quick little one-liners of whatever. But, this changes, it all changes entirely with Mass Effect 3 with Javik. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, you've played the From Ashes DLC, but a lot of gamers hadn't. Even though, it was like $5 or whatever,
It was cheap. It was
$5, $10, something like that. And, Javik's presence in Mass Effect 3, I think, is mandatory.
Yeah, they shouldn't have made that DLC. It really was kind of poor planning.
Well, if you'll remember, it was also a Day 1 DLC. And a lot of the data for Javik was on the disc.
Okay.
So it was clearly just EA being EA and like, money grubbing. Like, and this is like peak like Dead Space 3 and like Mass Effect 3. Yeah. Like this is EA like peak. Like they are just getting into the microtransaction game and they're trying to money grub as much as they can. And this is their time of like being nominated Worst Company of the Year or Worst Company in America 2 times in a row. Like this is all that era. So. That plus the Leviathan DLC, I'm very excited for you to experience.
Yes, that one I'm very interested in.
I'm excited for you to play because the ending changes with those 2 DLCs.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't change, but some more dialogue options come up in the ending because of those 2 DLCs. And then I'm excited for you to play Citadel.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Citadel, just a fun, fan servicey little like space adventure. That just such a banger of a DLC.
I'm guessing you'll tell me when the best time is to do that mission, or is it very clear?
It breaks up the pacing of the game a little bit, but I always say right before and they're very clear of when this happens. The penultimate moment of like, hey, do all your side stuff before you do this mission.
Okay.
Moment. Go do Citadel and then come back and finish the game. That's where I say to do it.
Okay, good.
But it breaks up the pacing because narratively the game very much wants you to rush to the end once you get to that point because the stakes are building so much. So to take a break and to put the main story on pause to go do this side thing, yeah, it kind of hurts it up. It kind of hurts it a little bit, but
they seem like they worked around that pretty well,
as well as you could. Like it's very much a side story.
Okay.
Like doesn't have anything to do with Reapers.
Yeah.
Like we're just over there on the left.
Kind of like Mass Effect 1 and 2 stuff where it's not. Galaxy ending shit going on.
Oh, also the Arrival DLC in Mass Effect 2. That one's okay.
Yes.
I
didn't
forgot
play
about
that one
that
either. I haven't played that one.
So, I'm excited to see your reactions to all of those.
That'll be the last DLC I play.
I'm curious as to how, when we get there in hype, how to pitch those DLCs to Phil.
To play them?
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty easy.
I don't think we'll have to. I don't think the pitch will be that hard because, spoilers, he's enjoying Mass Effect 1 right now.
Yeah.
And I think he'll just enjoy the series more and more as we go on.
Yeah, we'll see how he feels about 2. But
like he's not a big replay guy. Like he only replays the games he loves.
Kingdom Hearts?
Kingdom Hearts, for example. So like even in our progress through Mass Effect 1, we hit a point where we were talking about the possibility of him maybe replaying it, one more time to see the like Renegade routes or something. And I was like,
he's going Paragon.
Mostly Paragon. He keeps going and he's like, man, I would really like to be a Renegade, but
I'm kind of the same
way. The game
way.
just pushes you to be a Paragon so much.
It does. And it seems like everything that's the biggest issue I think with Mass Effect so far is it seems like Renegade you just kind of do dumber choices most of the time. Like it's the Renegade option. It's kind of cooler. It's more out there.
I think a lot of gamers have kind of sufficed this to say, or have solved this by being a Paragon to your crewmates and a Renegade to people you meet.
Which I've done for the most part. But there are some situations where it's like, unless they're a complete asshole, usually I'm gonna be an asshole to them back. But sometimes even in those situations, they'll be kind of neutral, and then you'll just be like, shut the fuck up and kick them in the stomach or something like that.
The knee to the stomach is always the most janky animation.
It is. It's so janky.
But I've always felt Mass Effect is so well written and so well balanced as an RPG. God, this is just a Mass Effect channel now.
I know. How's Mass Effect 2 playing for you? And then we go into a whole thing about Mass Effect 3.
Oh, Mass Effect will be on this channel for pretty much until Ratchet and Clank. And then it'll be just right back to Mass Effect.
I mean, depends when we beat 3 and finish talking about that.
Exactly. And then we had texted about it a few times, but I plan on involving you in the after the hype for the Mass Effect games, and then it'll be more of a spoiler cast, spoiler talk type thing, which is fun and exciting.
When is it happening, by the way?
Sometime this next week.
Because I have until Wednesday to do that.
Oh, right, because you got to go.
Yeah.
Well, we can always just do it over Discord or something, and you could hook up to a Wi-Fi somewhere, right?
It's going to be kind of difficult.
You have until when you're leaving Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll talk to Phil. Maybe we can get it done by Wednesday because he doesn't want to do it the day of because he wants to have some time to marinate over it. Yeah. You're welcome to join us in our ending stream for Mass Effect. You joined us for the start. Might as well join us for the end.
No, I'll see if I have the time.
You're welcome.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. But we're not going to be playing for that long.
Yeah. I figured
because we don't have that much. We've got 3-4 hours.
Yeah,
probably. So you're welcome to join for that. And then talk to Phil about doing it that Wednesday. When do you... no, because it needs to be part of the 2 Penny Gamescast, yeah. Interesting. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll talk about it off mic.
We'll figure it out off mic. Anyways, yeah, Mass Effect 2. I'm playing it. You're playing it. You're playing it a lot more because you've got more time to play it than I do. So, and then we're going to continue playing it until, other games come out. Until then, that'll be it for your 2 Penny Gamescast episode 45. Remember, you can catch this show every Monday, 8 a.m. YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Just, look us up. You'll find us. You could probably just Google us at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because we put out so much content under this name that, you'll figure it out eventually. Remember, you can go check out our full Mass Effect Legendary Edition review, which mostly we talk about the first game. That video did quite well for us, and it'll probably be how we do reviews from here on out, where it's just going to be a breakout piece with some gameplay attached to it and so forth. But until then, also, After the Hype, Super Mario Sunshine, still there. You can go check that out if you want. We've also got videos for Uncharted 1 and Metal Gear Solid, the first 3 games, and Kingdom Hearts, the first 2 games. All fun, good stuff. YouTube.com/2pennygamescast. But until then, remember to catch us live at twitch.tv/2pennygames as we finish Mass Effect 1 this week, Tuesday, 1 p.m. Central Time. But until next time, have a good week. And Connor, say goodbye to the people.
See ya.